Chico's gonna give you what? Rev is gonna give you what? Ben is gonna give you what? All three are gonna give you the Big D. Chico's gonna give you what? Rev is gonna give you what? Ben is gonna give you what? All three are gonna give you the Big D. Chico, Rev, and Ben, yep, they're at it again. Breaking down the team, putting stats up in your head. Nothing left unsaid, they're leaving it all on the field. Just like the favorite team, raising 2 cups and with shield. The knowledge is so real for a trio so true to representing the great red, white, and blue. And you love them too, that you can't deny. So just one time, let me hear Dallas till I die. Chico's gonna give you what? Rev is gonna give you what? Ben is gonna give you what? All three are gonna give you the Big D. Chico's gonna give you what? Rev is gonna give you what? Ben is gonna give you what? All three are gonna give you the Big D. Soccer? Podcast? Huh.
Hey, welcome to Big D After Dark. So glad you can join us this evening to talk about FC Dallas news and results, and we have plenty to talk about. Of course, a draw at home against San Jose, which dims perhaps FC Dallas's playoff chances, but maybe that hope is still alive. The good news is Ricardo Pepi is in form. He's scoring for the team, and he's scoring now for the United States men's national team. What a rise for the youngster. We have a lot to talk about tonight, a lot of fun to have, and we want to take your questions and comments live. Welcome to Big D After Dark. And there we are. We are live. Welcome to Big D After Dark. Thanks for joining us, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. We're here to break down and talk about the latest FC Dallas news and notes and results. And we have plenty to talk about this week, especially because of one Ricardo Pepi. But we'll get to that. And, of course, you can use the comment section on YouTube or Facebook and share with us a question or a comment you have about the team, and it will shape our show, and we'll be grateful for those comments. My name is Nathan Hill. I'm the host here at Nathan J. Hill on Twitter. There in the middle with the Skype logo is our buddy Ben Lyon at Bird Turgler. Say hello, Ben.
Hello, Ben.
And there in the end is Jose Carmona at El Chico Carmona. Don't want to get ahead of myself there. Good to see you, Jose.
Bienvenidos.
All right. We have a lot to talk about. Let's just get first, let's just note what's been all over Twitter today a little bit, which is, and I'm splashing it up on the video feed for those watching on video, that 5 years ago was the U.S. Open Cup win for FC Dallas, an incredible achievement, a game which I was there for, an incredible performance from Mauro Diaz, and really a solid roster all around. Oscar Pereira, head coach, deserved this, and really worthy of celebration. Just some good faces to see, good memories. Kellen Acosta was still with the team back then. Oh, how time flies. A great moment, a historic moment for the club, but it would be nice to have another one of those moments in the next couple of seasons, wouldn't it, guys? Wouldn't it?
That'd be great.
Anything sticks out from that memory 5 years ago of the Open Cup championship, Ben? Anything for you?
That was the year that we were going to win everything, even though Fabian Castillo ran off to Turkey. It was still all there to play for, and then it just unraveled at the end of the year when Mauro Diaz, the greatest number 10 in FC Dallas history, got hurt, and that really that that was the beginning of the end of the Oscar Pereira era. So a lot happened in that month. But that was exciting.
Yeah, and it was quite the night. All the fans were going nuts. I mean, it was everything about that night was just electric, and it was nice to be on top of the world for a change. And Shield was inside. The CONCACAF group qualification was inside, and everything was looking great. And we didn't know that was going to be, the peak of the mountain that year.
Yeah, FC Dallas won the Supporter Shield that year as well. Great roster, really solid roster. A lot of veterans, a lot of good leadership. But yeah, you remember back when Morrow was fouled and was done. That was it. And really, playoff run was not to be. But what a magical night. And they were. I remember because they went down a goal, and yet the way the team was playing and even the energy in the crowd, there was no doubt that the team was going to come roaring back, and they did. It was a fun game to be at, fun memory. But let's go to the present, because that's a nice contrast to begin our conversation tonight as we talk about the game on Saturday. FC Dallas got a good week off. Well, at least most of the team did. Some players were working for their countries, representing their countries, but the team had an opportunity to rest, and so they came out at home against San Jose, a really vital match, and unfortunately came away with a 1-1 draw. Went down early off of just a penalty kick mistake that I still think is a little controversial. I think it was a bit harsh. But I want to hear from you guys about that in a minute. And then we're able to get at least draw level with kind of Ricardo Pepi goal. I mean, generated a lot of opportunities and just couldn't put them away. A really difficult match, because if this team is going to make the playoffs, they need to win at home. So let's just start with reactions from the match. Jose, we'll start with you. I mean, was this a gut punch for you, or is it just, hey, this has been the season for FC Dallas?
It wasn't a gut punch. It was a disappointment for sure. We can argue the first goal we want, but the bottom line is the team equalized and had plenty of time to find the game winner, and they couldn't do it. And, I'm not as bummed out as a lot of people are. We're only 4 points out of the playoff spot. And the way you got to look at it is they're in a pack, and none of the teams ahead of Dallas impresses. Even if you're not impressed with FC Dallas, you're not impressed by any of the teams ahead of them or behind them. And in all honesty, it's just a quagmire, and the team that climbs out of that is could still do it with a short run, and Dallas has 5 home games left, so they have to figure out a way to get some points on this next road matches they got coming up. They have to find a goal, a tie here, a tie there. What you got 3 road games in a row. I could live with 3 points, and if they can get 3 points out of that or more, that'd be great, because it's not that's gonna get anybody excited about them making the playoffs, but I don't have any faith that any team ahead of them is gonna pull away. So that's the only thing that's keeping me from going, oh man, what a bummer, because in all honesty, we're not the only fan base saying that about our team. All the fan bases of the teams ahead of us and behind us are saying the same thing. They're like, man, what does this team have to do to secure a playoff spot? So that's what gives me confidence. It's I'm a NFL fan, like a lot of people here, and it's like being in a weak conference. I'm not saying the West is weak, but I'm saying after the top 4 teams, everybody else is in the same boat. There's nothing separating any of those teams. And Dallas gets to play a lot of those teams. They get to play Houston. They get to play LAFC at home. They get to play Minnesota, San Jose. I'm just saying, all these teams that are ahead of them or around them, they play Vancouver. So FC Dallas will have a say on whether they get into playoffs or not. And I'm not riding them off yet.
All right. Ben, what are your reactions to the draw at home against San Jose? I think we're getting
it was a bummer.
But it felt like we were getting some static here. We're getting some interference in the feed, but no, okay, that was Ben.
Yeah, they had so many good chances to score that game. I mean, again, credit to Marcinkowski for making a couple of really, really clutch good stops, but discredit to O'Brien and Paxton for shooting the ball right at Marcinkowski on 3 separate occasions. Both of those guys have not finished well this year, and that's a difference maker right there. I complain about Hara all the time. He's not unlike O'Brien. He's got something to offer. He's got speed. He just, his decision making and his shooting have not matched his talent. So he needs to have that happen this week. Paxton too. Paxton, you need to score a goal this week. All the guys that are not finishing well in the front four, they need to figure that out quickly. Or let Schoen figure it out. He hadn't finished all that well either.
It hasn't been his strength, though. Finishing hasn't been his strength. It's been getting the assists and yeah, I think that's the attack just has to get going. And let's face it, the defense plays well and they do a hiccup here, a hiccup there, and allow a goal here and a goal there, and that's kind of frustrating too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, with Schoen though, he was a pretty good finisher in Hungary.
Hasn't come yet.
I want to say he had 8 goals for MTK before he came to FC Dallas this spring. He could finish, he could shoot for sure. He just hadn't found it yet.
I still feel like for him, it's just getting that first one over the line, and then the rest will follow. But yeah, his assists have been great. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's just talk about the opening, that San Jose goal, which was a penalty awarded off of an apparent handball, as Hedges dove in to clear the ball, and the ball hit his hand. I mean, I still look at that and I just say, gosh, that's so harsh. I don't know. I mean, Hedges was using his hand to sort of catch himself on the grass. I don't know where the hand is supposed to be at that point. But I don't know. They reviewed it. I just feel like that's a harsh call against a defender there. Granted, in San Jose's defense then, it was a terrible playing out of the back kind of situation that led to the mistake. And Hedges had to scramble. People were scrambling. And so those are the situations which lead to penalties for this team over and over again when the team puts itself, kind of does its own damage. I mean, did you guys disagree with the penalty call at all? Or am I on my own out here?
I mean, I didn't really. Because, Hedges basically dove in front of the ball. And, it didn't matter. It didn't matter how you sacrifice your body there. I mean, he can dive in with his arm tucked and hurt his shoulder, or he could just not dive at all to get in front of that ball. So, that's probably what he should have done, and take your chances with Felipe there. But is what it is.
Yeah, I thought it was a 50-50 call myself. That could have gone either way, but Dallas doesn't get those calls. So, yeah. I mean, you tell me the last time that they got a call. I mean, at home. That's what I mean. You go to other stadiums, they get those calls. At home, you don't really see that from Dallas. You don't really see them getting those calls going their way, and we're just used to it, I guess. It's to the point where it's like expected. It's like, oh man, they're not gonna overturn that. It's a little disappointing, but again, it happened early enough, and they equalized. So to me, I'm more disappointed that they couldn't find that game winner down the stretch.
Well, let's listen to head coach Luchi Gonzalez's comments post the game, just kind of about his perspective on the match, kind of what FC Dallas can pull from, and we'll see. I mean, are we feeling Luchi's vibe here?
I thought we initiated the game well. I thought we pushed the game. We were very clear of our intentions to get pressure on them, to play forward, to get the block up and push the game. Unfortunately, in a little moment of not aware, they score on a PK. So that's not how we want to start. That's not it's not in the plan. But I liked our response in terms of just keep playing, and I thought we created good chances before the half. For me personally, I was actually calm. I knew we were going to tie the game. I knew for a fact we were going to tie the game, just based on the way we initiated the game and based on the week that we had. Going further than that, that was that next step. We fell short of that. So, overall we have to be disappointed to leave 2 points on the table and with a direct rival that we need to go over, them. And, that's that extra that we're still trying to find, because I thought we played with heart. I thought we showed a response after being down. I thought we showed commitment of the group. 90 minutes. I mean, you saw physically, mentally, they left everything on the field. So and San Jose is a tough team as well. They commit everything, and it becomes a lot of duels, a little small-sided, small group, small number moments. So, I want to grab the positives. Let's keep those ingredients. The shifting was good. We were stepping with our lines. I thought we were good playing in forward combinations, interior, exterior, interior to break their lines to get forward. I think you saw the possession, but it's 1-1. So we need to do more. We need to do more, and but I know if we do more, if we show the intentions that we showed tonight, points will bounce your way, home or away.
Points will bounce our way, home or away. I mean, there was a lot to like about this performance. FC Dallas didn't slouch, didn't give up after that early goal. They fought, and were really unlikely not to get the equalizer much earlier in the match. I know Luchi needs to stay positive, and there were some positives to draw from this game, but it just seems like over and over again this team is falling short in some key moments here and there, right? And that has been what has mattered this season. And we may look back at the season and say, man, points here or there, we'd be talking about a different level for this team, a different set of runs or whatever.
Yeah, it just seems like this team is missing a little bit of luck. They've played some games where they've just been unlucky to get a draw, or unlucky to pull a win from a draw. And, it just shows you that there's something missing. They seem to be missing a catalyst. Sure, you hope that Pepi is that player. You hope that Chuib's that player. The thing is it's not that simple. They're missing something. There's a key ingredient missing that could tie it all up. And you hope one of the younger players, you hope like a Paxton or Shun or something like that, steps up and they find that, that player that can pull something out of nothing, which I don't know. You see other teams have that player when it's a draw. You know who's going to score for them, and you can't say that for Dallas. I mean, sure, you got Pepi we all know he's going to score, but somebody else has to also step up and be there. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. We can't put our finger on it, and I think everyone's a little frustrated because you see those flashes of brilliance that this young squad puts out there, and then you also see in one game you can also see everything that's wrong with this team. Mm-hmm. So every match is like a roller coaster ride, with its ups and downs, and more often than not we wind up somewhere down the middle.
Yeah. All right. Well,
how many draws is that this year now?
10.
10.
No, 8. 8. Never mind.
I was gonna say 10 sounded pretty high, but it feels like it's 10. I mean, it feels like every time we need a win, we get a draw. I mean, so let's bring on some more road draws, I guess.
Yeah, road draws.
I think the time for road draws is over. Which, on a brighter note, I think that means that they'll play a more open style over the course of the next couple of months. That could be really exciting, and maybe that's just the kind of nudge that somebody like Schoen or Obrian or Paxton needs to, find their finishing touch.
Well, so does that mean Lucci's got to take some chances here with his lineups, or maybe not the lineup, but maybe be just more aggressive, less reactive and more proactive?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, he's gonna have to, put his team into a more tactically aggressive posture. I would say, especially early in games, and it could certainly blow up in his face. I will say, one thing that's going for them going into their match with NYCFC is the game is in Harrison instead of at Yankee Stadium, so they're playing on a normal field, and
so it's
not
almost
a pinball.
It's almost like a neutral site, really.
Yeah, and that weird small postage stamp field, they don't have to, be as boxed in playing on that. That neutralizes some advantages you get with Obrian playing and some of the younger guys.
And I think, NYCFC is built to play on that smaller field too. So I
right.
think this is I'm thinking positive. I'm thinking I'm like Ben says, I'm happy they're not playing in Yankee Stadium, and hopefully this gives FC Dallas a shot at pulling something out of there. I mean, 3 points would be great, and in all honesty would revive my faith in the team. But let's see what happens. Let's see them go out there and be aggressive and not play defensively for 90 minutes and hope to get out of there with a 0-0 draw.
Well, I think you nailed it there, Jose, because I think right now FC Dallas is a team that it's hard to pinpoint that one thing that if this thing went right, boom. In some ways it's a positive because think of last year and how their finishing and their attack and the final third really let them down, but the defense was solid, and you sort of could say, well, if that final third kicks in. Well, final third has kicked in this year, finally. You get the right personnel in the field, including one Ricardo Pepi, who we'll talk about in a moment. He's scoring. He's scoring confidently, and Jesus Ferreira is good. Schoen is good. We're still figuring out the other piece. Is it Paxton there? Is it Obrian? How can we get consistent play? But then our defense is letting us down with just mistakes and just and I like that Hedges and Martinez got the start this past weekend. But then boom, there's just that mistake again, and it's not simply to say oh, Hedges just needs to be better or Martinez needs to be better. It's just the ball bounces weird, and there are mistakes, sure, but there's also, it's just like, how do you fix that as a coach? How do you just keep going and saying, we got to be sharper, we got to be better? Is it the personnel? The midfield can be better, yes. Is it the right mix? It's just a lot. Injuries have been a challenge. It's just been a lot of stuff. So I feel like, are we at the point where like this is what the team is going to look like, or yeah, maybe it's just that right configuration of players that we're still trying to get that's going to carry us forward. I don't know. I don't know if there's that easy of an answer, and maybe we'll find out this week. Let's hold the. We'll talk about that at the end, but let me ask this question. Jose, you kind of answered it earlier. Are we losing hope about the playoffs? Are you still hopeful that this team can make the playoffs, or are you pretty resigned to that this is probably not going to be a playoff season?
And like I said, I've said it earlier, and this next 3 road matches they've got coming are very important. I say if Dallas can stay within 6 points of the playoff spot, heading into that home stretch, then I would be happy with that. I think they need to be within 6 points of the playoffs, because think about it, 5 of their last 7 matches are at home. That's a stretch you want. That's a stretch where you want to be within striking distance, because that's what you make your run. The fact that they got another draw at home dampens that, but it's what I'm hanging my hat on. It's this team, if they can just hang in there, get a point on the road here, a point on the road there, I think they'll be fine. I think just get home and no more, hiccups at home. Take care of business, because let's face it, those 5 home matches are against other playoff pretenders. So you gotta show that you're a contender then, because if you can't, and I would say any more draws at home from the last 5 home games, and yeah, I'll have to start hanging my head a little. But at this moment, I still think they can do it. Ben?
I mean, everybody in front of them has a game in hand, so that's bad, obviously. 538 has them at about a 9% chance to make the playoffs. I think that's a little low, but I also don't think that they're have a 1 in 5 chance. I mean, draws on the road aren't going to do it. They got to get 3 points every match. They got to be fighting for 3 points. A draw, it's not going to cut it at this point. Not with, like I say, everybody has a game in hand. Minnesota has 2 games in hand. They got to start making up for lost time, and it's got to start this week.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ben. I feel like my hope is dimming. It doesn't mean there's not a lot to play for in this season, and there's not a lot that guys can do and this team can do to answer some questions about even next season. And they certainly should continue to fight until it is absolutely no chance, But yeah, I mean, this week is going to be crucial. If they can get some points, as many as they can on the road, it will certainly help and give them a fighting chance. But they
got to win one of the games this week.
Yeah,
at least one of the games.
4
this
points.
Week.
You got to get 4 points at least. That 2 point per game average, at least aim for that. I mean, a lot can happen, and the teams ahead of them could just have injury issues. Could just, it's life. It's life. And our buddy, Hoach there is finally joining. He said he had to unload the groceries. So good. We're just talking about playoff hopes. Well, let's shift over to some really positive stuff then. Last week we talked about Pepi. We talked about the United States men's national team at Greg Berhalter making the peculiar choice in their 2 opening draws of this World Cup qualifying campaign to not play Pepi at all, to not start him, to not play him even as a sub. And I think the theory then was proposed that, you play Pepi and he wins. And guess what happens? In Honduras, a tough place to play, Pepi starts. First half wasn't so good. I think Berhalter kind of drink some of his own Kool-Aid a bit there.
I prefer the term sniffing his own farts.
Okay, that's good. And then guess what happens? Ricardo Pepi. 18-year-old phenom from FC Dallas, El Paso native, legend in the making. Assists 2 goals, scores 1 goal, and the United States just blows out Honduras 4-1. An incredibly fun match to watch, especially that second half. And just to be delighted as an FC Dallas fan, to be thankful to be alive to see Ricardo Pepi play the beautiful game. Berhalter, we told you so, right? I mean, this kid is so good. What's your reactions to that game, to Pepi's huge first start for the national team?
It's nice to see the U.S. embrace the play the kids or play the kid mantra, and hopefully we don't have to remind him again in October that, hey, you got Pepi, you know. So yeah, it was nice. And again, it's another occasion where all the social media people have been yelling at him to do something, and he finally does it, and it just proves that we are right and he's wrong all the time.
Yeah.
You know, if you just listen to the fans, we can run the team better than he can.
Well, you do get woozy when you sniff your own farts all the time.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was still good to see Pepi deliver. Part of me isn't happy because it means he's closer out the door. You know, and people can talk about how much he's going to go for. It doesn't matter because no matter what price tag it is, we have very little hope that the Hunts will actually put that back into the roster. So,
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
That's your cynicism there. All right, well,
you know, their answer is going to be to simply promote Hara to the starter. That's
well, let's not pull the fire alarm yet. Let's not go there. Let's stay in the positive state. But our buddy Hoach there says players usually break out in the comfort of a home game, not at an away match like that. Craziness. Let's go, Ricardo. And that's a good point. I mean, to get your first start, your first minutes really on the senior team level in an away match in a very hostile environment, and then to be able to perform, it just speaks so much to this kid's poise and his confidence. And
you know what, though? I think we all remember being 18 and invincible. Sure. And I think that's where he's at right now. His confidence is through the roof. Combine that with youthful, you know, exuberance, and it's just the right recipe at the right time. This kid, he believes in himself. And, you know, he goes out there and plays fearless, you know, even in the first half when the U.S. wasn't looking all that good, he was the only guy high pressing out there.
Yeah.
You know, which was, you know, you were like, okay, is he doing like a single man high press? What's going on here? That's just his energy level was through the roof. So, you know, I think maybe if there was some nervousness, I think that was out of the system after the first half, and then we saw the final product in the second half. I mean, yeah, this kid delivers, and any team that plays needs to ride that train as far as it'll take us.
Is he the new number one? Is he done enough to say, like, man, the next game he's got to start?
Yeah, I mean, you know, assuming he's still in good form, you know, it's like only like 3 weeks until the next window. And, you know, a good thing is that Dallas is not going to miss him through absence again. So, you know, Dallas is off during the next international break, which will give them a great time to regroup if, you know, they can win a few games here in the next couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say he's clearly the top striker going into the next break. Unless his form tails off dramatically.
And even if he is not the top striker for some reason, he's still currently the hot hand. You got to play the hot hand. You either play your best striker or the hot hand. And at this point, we believe Pepi is both of those. So if you don't agree with one, you got to agree with the other. And either way, he should be one of the two starting strikers for that team. Or if they go three up top, he should definitely be one of those three.
The question I have, and I'm wrestling with, and our buddy Hoach asked it too in the chat, what kind of mentions his value is high. Bayern is interested, evidently. I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of teams interested. The winter transfer window now is the next possibility. I've heard a little chatter that, hey, FC Dallas will try to keep him at least for another year. He'll get vital minutes. He'll continue to grow, and he's in a good place. There's a lot to be there. And that could be a strong argument to be made of like, hey, unless like a really spectacular offer comes in, Pepi, stick with us another year. Let's fight for success, for championships here with FC Dallas. Your value is only going to go up, or at the very least, it's going to stay kind of in where it is. But I mean, like, if a valuation comes in, that's off the charts. I mean, my gut is that whatever price comes in for Pepi, it's got to break the MLS record. I mean, I think it's got to before you consider it. It's got to beat Alphonso Davies.
I don't know about that simply because the Hunts like to put that that they want to keep a percentage, and if it doesn't surpass the record, it's because of that. It's because they're going to want to keep 30%, 40%. Very likely they're going to have to settle for something around 25%. So if anything's going to put a damper on that, it's going to be that. But I have a question for you guys. Would you rather see Pepi leave this winter or wait till this next summer? Because if he leaves this winter, at least he's gone and you can prepare for the next season. But if he stays and goes in the summer, you're basically going to have your starting star striker basically leave you mid-season. So that's the one thing we got to start worrying about is, could the Hunts basically try to hold on to him in the hopes that he'll bring in more come summer? But again, then there you go again, is you're going to basically cut off our legs next year. So,
I mean, he's going for the record fee, and until they hit that, I mean, there's no reason.
I mean, and shouldn't the Hunts draw a line there and say, hey, this is the record fee, start there or don't bother calling us?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for one thing, that helps you buy Hara out. That last year,
Right.
Gone. Just walk away from it.
That's part of the fee. That's like, okay, record fee and Franco Hara. Okay.
Right.
But our buddy Hoach says there, if I'm Ricardo, I'm wanting first-hand knowledge about how they plan to build a roster to challenge for the Cup next season. If it smells, then I'm going to Europe. I mean, that's a factor to consider too. How is a team going to reinforce itself, put pieces around Ricardo to succeed, to make it worthwhile to spend another season growing, learning, and having fun?
The problem with that argument is that he just signed a contract extension, so he couldn't do that. He couldn't say, oh, if I don't like it, I'm leaving for Europe, because he already agreed to stay on.
Right. He Harry Kaned himself.
Yes. So that's not really an option for him. His best bet is to basically, hopefully he has, a say as to where he goes, because,
Right.
what if the team that matches what the Hunts want is from Russia or Turkey, Is that where he wants to go? I mean, hopefully he has some say as to where he goes, and maybe if he does move this winter, it's because he says no, I don't want to play for any of those teams. I'm willing to wait till the summer or next, somebody, a bigger name ponies up. I think that's my concern is that he goes to a non-Champions League, non-Euro League team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, he's like the obvious replacement for Lewandowski at this point. And there's just like a lot of similarities in their game, and I think Lewandowski's contract runs out in 2023. So, they've seen him play.
You would hope that they're thinking, hey, let's bring him in and have him be mentored by Lewandowski. Have him groomed to be that guy. That's whoever brings him. Hopefully, will do that. But there's also a possibility that someone's going to say, hey, if we're paying that much for this kid, he's being brought in to be the guy.
Sure.
So.
It's a good question, isn't it? And we wish we could kind of see. I mean,
I will say this one last thing. Ricardo strikes me as like a loyal guy, and signing that contract this summer, it's a big help to his family. It's going to engender a lot of goodwill between him and the club, which he already loves the club already. So, I don't see him like trying to force his way out at all.
Well, there'll be a lot of those variables at work here, and of course, it's not out of the question that like Bayern comes and says, "Yeah, we're going to buy him. We're going to pay your price." I mean, I forgot Alphonso Davies went for how much? I thought it was
16.
Yeah, around that mid, not quite 20 mil. And so, hey, you come out and you say, look, we'll give you 25 for Pepi with the sell-on clause, kind of a thing, but we'll loan you back for the rest of the season, kind of a thing. I could see that potentially working. He's getting minutes, he's in form. Let him go, let him continue to run with the team. That would be really a win-win for FC Dallas. But we'll see. There's just a lot of scenarios, and it depends on injuries. Our buddy Hoch says that he wants him at Stuttgart because they're down to 2 strikers due to injury. So he could be
honestly,
immediately starting.
I'd love to see him go to the Bundesliga for sure, even whether it's Bayern or not. I definitely would love to see him go there. Yes.
Seems like a good place for him to land. All right, well, that's just speculation, but I mean, just seeing him perform at that level, it is amazing. But you're right, Jose. It's just like FC Dallas fans are also like, well, he's the next one that's going to be on his way. And meanwhile, Dante Sealy, I think got on the score sheet this past weekend, and the team could have used him.
Game winner, scored the game winner.
Yeah, could have probably used him. I mean, injuries are hurting the team, but which doesn't bode super well for the next season if we're going to pass on some more exciting guys. But hey, this is life with FC Dallas. I think we've got to accept this is where we are. Hey, let's shift over now. Let's close out the show. Just a huge week again. We've already talked about it. NYCFC, I should say, on Tuesday at the New York Red Bulls Stadium in Harrison, New Jersey. I was going to try to go up there. It's just a short train ride for me, but 3 hours train ride. But
I was going to say more like NYCRB.
Yeah, okay. But it's not going to work out for me. And then, again, this weekend against Houston, at Houston. So 2 big away matches. Both teams that you can get points from, although NYCFC is a solid team, much more talented than, but lost this most recent weekend. We got to find a way to 4 points, right? Can the team get it done? What are you looking for as signs that this team is going to get big results this weekend on short rest, or this week on short rest, on a packed week.
Just keep riding the Pepi train, man. I mean, I think as long as he's hot, if he can score on the road, we've got a shot. And that's what I'm gonna keep watching. Watching him and Chewy. Hopefully, both keep their form going, and hopefully they get some help from Shun or Pax or somebody else, to take the pressure off those two. But I think as long as those guys are still in form and Pepi scores, we got a shot. And I that's what I want to see. I want to see the train keep rolling. And let's ride that train, hopefully all the way to the playoffs.
Ben, what do you think?
Just want to bring up like another little tidbit from the NYCFC game that kind of is a positive. Their leading scorer, Tati Castellanos, out on yellow card suspension tomorrow. Okay. So that's a nice little win right there. So anyway, the team just scores so much better whenever Hara doesn't start. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, 20. I'm just like taking a quick look at this because I haven't looked at it in a while. Let's see, 27 goals in the 15 matches he hasn't started. That's almost 2 per game. I mean, that's elite production in the league, and that looks like that's going to continue for the indeterminate future. So right. I'm pumped about that. Everybody should be pumped about that because it's not just Pepi scoring; he makes his teammates look better.
I think Ben is not Dallas till I die. I think he's Dallas till Hara starts.
Well.
I still support the team. I just won't watch.
Oh,
yeah, because it is tough. I mean, Hara scored a goal, but yet, hey. Well, yeah, I'm with you. And our buddy Hoach there says we need points in Houston more. Add, Copa Tejas. I'm happy with the 0-0 draw. I mean. Or a 1-1 draw in NYC, in New York or New Jersey, I guess. Get a goal early, scrap away a goal, and then let Pepi rest a little bit. It's been a long week for him. I know he's young, but you don't want to ride him too hard. Rest.
No, we need the 3 points.
I agree, but then you rest him for that Houston 3 points. You got to go for the 3 points against Houston.
He's 18.
Okay,
that's right,
and that may be true, but. I think it's going to be a tough match on Tuesday, but tomorrow night. But hopefully, the team can get at least a point. If they're going to get a point at one of the 2 matches, I feel like NYCFC is more likely because of the travel and everything. And then you get 3 points against Houston after a little longer time to rest up. But
do not have the luxury of picking and choosing at this point.
Right. I mean, 6 points would be amazing.
That's gone after this weekend.
6 points would get them back in the thick of things, I think. So, but we'll see.
Oh, you bet.
Jose, North Texas. Let's shift over to North Texas real quick. Not a great weekend for them.
It's been a terrible week for them. I mean, they just got the road loss. Before that, they had to settle for a draw at home. It's not at all what I envisioned for the team. I think they're currently 8th place. It doesn't get any easier as in their next home match they host Union Omaha, who tend to find a way to get a draw against North Texas almost every time they play. So this match is probably a must win if there ever has been one. They need to defeat Union Omaha in North Texas. And it's just their attack has basically disappeared on them. It's faltered. And of course they lost to Chattanooga again on a last-second goal, which is, I think that's they've scored a last-second goal every match they've played, so it's 4 matches now, and it's coming, and it literally was at the death. So, just this was a chance for them to go on a run. They were on an 8-match unbeaten streak, and now they're in a 2-match losing streak with Union Omaha coming to town. So they need to right the ship, and they need to right it this weekend, because their window they basically were sitting in a good spot where they could challenge for the 3rd spot, and they've missed that window now, and now they're challenging just to get into playoffs. So they can right the ship with a win against Union Omaha at home, and they need to make that happen.
Well, thanks. We'll leave it here tonight with that. Ben and Jose, you're great. Always great to hang out and talk FC Dallas soccer. Of course, remember, everybody, follow us at bigdsoccer.com. And you can write your own perspectives and comments there. There's a little feature called Fan Shots. You can fill in and write your own perspectives and commentary. We'd love to hear your voice. And it's going to be a full week of FC Dallas action, so join us. Hang out with us. Let's have a good time together and hope for this team to push hard for the playoffs. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Good night.